Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Your Salesforce Buddy. My name is Pratik Mistry, and we are continuing with our Field Service Lightning. This is part 5, where we will be talking precisely about scheduling policies, work rules, and service objectives. Some of these terminologies are very important when it comes to Field Service Lightning and scheduling service appointments. So we will deep dive into each one of them, and then I will also show in the guided setup how to update those if in case you need to do. All right, so this is our agenda: scheduling policies, work rules, and service objectives. All right, what is scheduling policies? Basically, in FSL, it determines how the service objectives and work rules are balanced to create an optimized schedule. So our motive with using the field service lightning and the dispatch console is to optimize our scheduling of service appointments. We want to automate them. We want the system to run and understand how to schedule these appointments. So, uh, and we'll look into those through some of the examples. They guide the scheduling policies. They guide the scheduling engine on what to prioritize, whether it's minimizing travel, maximizing appointments, or adhering to strictly to customer preferences. Scheduling policies help in creating a schedule that aligns with both the business goals and the customer experience. So, all in all, we basically first define some of the business goals. For example, we did the the service work types with due date of 3 days, and then each work type for 60 minutes in our previous session. So all these uh, scheduling policies basically takes those into account whenever scheduling a service appointment. And then it also takes the customer expectations. So let's say if a customer has a preferred resource, then it would take that resource as a priority. It also takes the travel distance into consideration. It also takes how many appointments can be assigned to one resource per day. It also takes into consideration uh, whether you are crossing the boundary, the territory, or are you within the territory or not, are you within the operating hours or not. So bunch of things that do a part of setup uh, come under scheduling policies. Now let's look at one of the example that I have over here. So let's consider a home maintenance company who wants to balance between the customer preference and operational efficiency. So sometimes, let's say the customer wants that I want my service to be done today, but all your resources are busy. So you cannot just pick up a resource from an appointment that is scheduled and assign him a new appointment that the customer wants today. So we need to find a big balance between these two. Hence, where a scheduling policy can be set to give slight preference to customers requesting such times while still optimizing the travel and the technicians availability. So you can put in the request, or you can create your scheduling policy such that for certain customers or for certain types of situations, uh, those customer service appointments are taken care. So maybe not today, but tomorrow, as the first thing in the morning, they will be scheduled to service their appointment. All right. And same thing, if there is a situation that the customer wants and has let's say a gas leak, and you need to take care of that, then it's an emergency situation. In that case, if you trigger the emergency scheduling policy, then it would push the remaining service appointments, making sure that the emergency is taken care as a preference. All right. The next is work rules. So again, the scheduling policies are made of two major things. One is the work rules, and another is the service objectives. Work rules in FSL are the constraints or guidelines that define how the service appointments should be scheduled. So what are your constraints? Your constraint is, let's say, minimum travel or maximum travel. Your constraint is how many number of appointments can be scheduled for a resource. Your constraint is how many, what are the operating hours. So uh, all those being your constraints come into play when scheduling an appointment. So let's say if there is a roof installation needs to be done, right? Uh, and one of the equipment needed for the process is a ladder. We have a service resource available, we have a van available, we have the resource with the skill available, and the service appointment is today. But what if the equipment is not available in the van? Then we the system will not schedule an appointment because the equipment is a necessity for such kind of work. Okay, so let's look at the example that we have. A solar installation company has technicians with varying levels of certification. A work rule can ensure that only certified technicians are assigned to complex installations, maintaining compliance and safety standards. Right? So, same thing, instead of equipment, we have a certified technician. If the technician doesn't have the certification, even though he or she has a skill set, the system will not uh, follow. I mean, it will violate the work rule if you assign somebody else manually, but automatically it will not choose a technician without the certification. All right. So next one we have are the service objectives. Service objectives in Field Service Lightning define the goals or KPIs for scheduling and dispatching service appointments. So what are some of the KPIs and goals, right? These objectives can include factors like minimizing travel time, maximizing resource utilization, ensuring high capability, tasks completed promptly. They help in aligning field operations with strategic goals of the business. So, again, going back to our scheduling policies, work rules come in play when you have the constraints, but service objectives define what your business goals are and how you want to achieve them. So, let's say you want to make sure that every resource is scheduled at least 6 appointments and not more than 8 appointments a day. So the system will make sure that it automatically assigns at least 6 appointments to a resource before finding a new one. Um, if you target minimize travel time, why do we do minimize travel time? So that your fuel burning is low, your output on reaching the customer site is in less time, within less time. So those are some of the goals that you can define. So let's take a look at this example that we have. Let's say a company wants to reduce the average time taken to reach a customer site. As I said, by setting a service objective to minimize travel time, FSL will prioritize assigning jobs to the nearest available technician. Right? Uh, so let's look at these things in our demo environment. As I said during our part 4 session, if you go to the home page, you'll see the schedule. FSL Manage package comes with 4 scheduling policies, 8 service objectives, and 14 work rules. Again, you can activate more or you can create more, but these are some of the predefined comes with, along with 2 operating hours. So we went through all these 4 in our session 4. If you haven't seen them, then please look at part 4. Um, for today, we are going to focus on 5 and 6 over here. So customizing appointment booking. Now, the appointment booking action in chatter basically lets you customize your booking, right? So you can create appointments from within your chatter. You can book appointments, and for that you need to take scheduling policies and operating hours into consideration. So here you can define which scheduling policy is associated with which operating hours. So since we created an operating hour for East Coast, I'm going to assign that to each scheduling policy. Okay, so it's going to follow this timeline. For emergency, I'm still going to use the East Coast. For a high intensity, I'm going to use gold appointment hours, and then for soft boundaries. Again, I'm gonna stick with gold appointment hours, just so that it gives us more flexibility in the appointment hours. All right. Talking about some scheduling policies, and so as I said, there are four scheduling policy. You can add more if needed, but I'm going to stick with these four. We have the customer first. Customer first basically focuses on minimal travel time, and the appointments are graded first based on the customer, so it's based on their priority, and then second being the minimum travel time. Now, how do we prioritize this? If you scroll down, you can see the prioritization over here based on your. So level one, we have, if you see, four and four and two. So we have resource priority as number one. We have minimized travel as number two, and then we have preferred service resource and ASAP as four. Um, yeah, and then few other settings over here. I'll quickly go over them. So work rules are, again, we have 14 active work rules for each one of them. I mean, for customer first, you have different for emergency, you have different for high intensity, and you have different for soft boundaries. Again, work rules, why different? Because they are the constraints for certain situations like emergency. We don't want the minimum travel as a factor to come into place. For soft boundaries, we don't want the maximum travel from home to come into place. So hence we kind of exclude those. Now, a few settings here. These are more optimization settings. Feel free to read through them, uh, but they're always helpful in if you're doing high intensity optimization scheduling. All right. Same thing. You can add and remove scheduling policies uh, and work rules and service objectives, but you can add them over here as well in the other tabs. All right. Thank you. Please do follow our channel, do subscribe to channel, do share and like our video, and look for part 6. Thank you.